Welcome back to Movies on the Brain, where we break down the most thought-provoking and intense films on the big screen. I'm Jason, and today I'm diving into the dystopian chaos of Civil War. Directed by Alex Garland, Civil War delivers a chilling look at the future where America is torn apart by conflict. Starring Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura, this film explores the brutal reality of a nation divided, filled with emotional tension and moral ambiguity. In Civil War, we witnessed the breakdown of society and the devastating consequences of ideology taken to extremes. It's a haunting vision of what could happen, and this review will dive in to the film's biggest moments and themes. And just a heads up though, this review contains spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to watch it. Civil War opened in theaters on April 12, 2024 with a budget of $50 million. During its 11-week theatrical run, it earned $68.6 million domestically and $54 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $122.6 million. Its opening weekend saw it earn a domestic total of $25.5 million, finishing number one in the box office ahead of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Dune Part 2, numbers 2 through 5, respectively. Its final week in theaters saw it earn $22,666 and finishing its box office run at number 42. In the near future, a civil war has engulfed the United States. An authoritarian federal government led by a third-term president is embattled by secessionist movements. Despite the president claiming victory is imminent, it is widely expected that Washington, D.C. will soon be reached by the Western forces known as WF, led by Texas and California. After surviving a suicide bombing in New York City, jaded veteran war photographer Lee Smith and journalist colleague Joel meet with their mentor Sammy to share their plan to interview the isolated president. While trying to dissuade them from heading to the Capitol, Sammy joins them to reach the front line at Charlottesville, Virginia. The next morning, Lee finds Joel has allowed a young, aspiring photojournalist whom Lee encountered at the bombing, Jesse Cullen, to join them. After departing the city, the group stop at a gas station protected by armed men. Jessie explores a nearby car wash, which she finds the men torturing two alleged looters. One of the guards follows Jessie, but Lee diffuses the situation by taking a photo of the man posing with his victims. Later, Jessie berates herself for being too scared to take photos. Following an overnight stop near ongoing fighting, the group documents combat the next day as secessionist militiamen successfully assault a loyalist help building. Lee recognizes Jessie's potential as a war photographer and begins to mentor her, while Jessie photographs the secessionists executing prisoners. The group spends the night at a refugee camp before passing through a small town where, under watchful guard, residents attempt to live in blissful ignorance of the war. Later, they are caught in a sniper battle amid the remains of a Christmas fair. Nearby, snipers mock Joel's questioning what side they are fighting for or against, instead summarizing the situation as killing those trying to kill them. Jessie's nerve and photography skills improve as she becomes increasingly desensitized to violence. Jessie asks if Lee would photograph Jessie being killed, to which Lee responds in the affirmative. While driving, the four encounter two foreign reporters they know, Tony and Bowie. Tony and Jessie switch vehicles before Bowie drives off ahead with Jessie in his car. The others catch up to find the pair held at gunpoint by unknown uniformed militia who are burying civilians in a mass grave. Sammy stays behind as the other three approach to attempt to negotiate their release, but the leader of the militia executes both Bowie and Tony for not being American. The others are saved by Sammy after he rams the group's truck into members of the militia, but is mortally wounded while doing so. Traumatized, the remaining three arrive at the Charlottesville WF base and find most of the remaining loyalists have surrendered, leaving Washington, D.C. undefended outside of fanatical remnants of the armed forces and Secret Service. Joel drunkenly lashes out at what he views as Sammy's pointless death, while Lee tries to console Jesse that Sammy would have liked to die on the job. Lee finds herself unable to document Sammy's death, deleting a photo she took of his body. The trio embed themselves with the WF as they assault DC, where Jesse repeatedly endangers herself during fighting to capture photographs, while Lee struggles with combat fatigue. When the WF breached the White House's fortified perimeter, the presidential limousine flees but is quickly intercepted and its occupants are killed. Understanding it to be a distraction, the trio instead heads inside with 5 WF soldiers. Advancing through the largely abandoned building, an abortive attempt by the few remaining Secret Service agents still guarding the president to negotiate his surrender and safe passage turn into a firefight. Jesse steps into the line of fire while taking photos, capturing Lee's death as she pushes Jesse to safety. Jesse unemotionally continues to the Oval Office, watching soldiers drag the president from under his desk and prepare to execute him summarily. Joel momentarily stops him to get a quote from the president, who replies, "Don't let them kill me." Satisfied, Joe stops delaying the soldiers while Jesse photographs WF soldiers posing with the president's corpse. Now let's look at the cast and some of their other roles. Kirsten Dunst as Lee Smith. Other roles for Kirsten Dunst include Justine in Melancholia, Mary Jane Watson in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy, and Crystal Stubbs on the TV show On Becoming a God in Central Florida. Wagner Moura as Joel. Other roles for Wagner Moura include Wolf in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Pablo Escobar in the TV show Narcos, and Spider in Elysium. Cailee Spaeny as Jesse Collin. Other roles for Cailee Spaeny include Rain in Alien Romulus, Priscilla in Priscilla, and Lily in The Craft Legacy. Stephen McKinley Henderson as Sammy. Other roles for Stephen McKinley Henderson include Jim Bono in Fences, Nicholas in The True Adventures of Wolfboy, and Lester in Tower Heist. Sonoya Mizuno as Anya. Other roles for Sonoya Mizuno include Misaria the White Worm in the TV show House of the Dragon, Araminta Lee in Crazy Rich Asians, and Caitlin in La La Land. Jefferson White as Dave. Other roles for Jefferson White include Jimmy Herdstrom in the TV show Yellowstone, Parker in the TV show Blind Spot, and Cole in the TV show Manhattan. Nelson Lee as Tony. Other roles for Nelson Lee include Dr. Ido in the TV show Stargirl, the Chancellor in 2020's Mulan, and Detective Wu in Coldplay. Carl Glusman as a spotter. Other roles for Carl Glusman include Murphy in Love, Corky in The Bike Riders, and Cyrus in God is a Bullet. Jen Ha as a sniper. Other roles for Jen Ha include Solomon Bake in the TV show Pachinko, Wendell in Hot Air, and Elliot Park in The Same Storm. Wani Feliz as Joy Butler. Other roles for Wani Feliz include Stacy from Queens in Delirious, Schoolgirl Number 2 in The Purge Election Year, and Ada in the Horizon Zero Dawn video game. Jonica T. Gibbs as a Western Force Sergeant. Other roles for Jonica T. Gibbs include Molly in Fresh, Janice in Past Lives, and Evelyn in Dogman. James Yagashi as a secessionist corporal. Other roles for James Yagashi include Captain Skip Tanaka in the TV show Mech Cadets, Robert Minoru in the TV show Runaways, and Charlie in the Grand Theft Auto 4 video game. Evan Lay as Bowie. Other roles for Evan Lay include Agent Alex Chin in the TV show Without a Trace, Gotti in The Frame, and Mr. Zhao in the TV show Shameless. Greg Hill as Pete. Other roles for Greg Hill include Sam in South of Heaven, Nikki in the TV show Sneaky Pete, and Matt in Boogeyman Pop. Edmund Donovan as Eddie. Other roles for Edmund Donovan include Max in the TV show Tell Me Lies, Bambi in the TV show Betty, and Eric in The Inhabitants. Nick Offerman as the President of the United States. Other roles for Nick Offerman include Beef Tobin in the TV show The Great North, Pip in Candy Cane Lane, and Dave the Plumber in Origin. Tim James as the Tortured Looter. Tim James is best known for being the stunt rigger on Twisters, 2023's Haunted Mansion, and The Nightmare. Jared Shaw as a Western Forces soldier. Other roles for Jared Shaw include Ernest Vickers in the TV show The Terminal List, and Tank in the Tomorrow War. Justin Garza is a Western Forces soldier. The only other role Justin Garza has had is Victor Ramirez in the TV show The Terminal List. Brian Philpott as a Western Forces soldier. The only other role Brian Philpott has had is an intruder in American Refugee. Taiwan Torrens as a Western Forces soldier. Other roles for Taiwan Torrens include Thug Number 1 in Walden, the Boxer Zombie in Dead Don't Die in Dallas, and Diamond Jack in Howlers. Jesse Plemons as the ultra-nationalist militant. Other roles for Jesse Plemons include Gary in Game Night, Tom White in Killers of the Flower Moon, and Todd in the TV show Breaking Bad. I really love this movie's use of silence. I felt it really upped the tension throughout the entire movie. I'll be honest, when I was recommended this movie and I saw Kirsten Dunst was the lead, I wasn't too sure, but she knocked it out of the park. I thought the idea of having a modern day dystopian world after another civil war was a really great idea. Having the audience follow photojournalists throughout was a unique way to tell it. And I'll be honest, Kirsten Dunst and Nick Offerman are the only actors in this that I was familiar with going in. And I thought everyone in it was great, especially the core four, those being Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Cailee Spaeny, and Stephen McKinley Henderson. Having California and Texas secede from the U.S. was an interesting choice, and if I followed the story right, which y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, it was California and Texas against the rest of the United States. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I kind of enjoyed seeing the reversal of how Jesse and Lee were in the beginning, with Lee being stone cold and Jesse being scared to those roles being reversed in most of the third act, which unfortunately led to Lee's demise after Jesse tried to get a great shot of the Secret Service by standing in the open hallway. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the film, even with the uneasiness I felt when it got completely silent pretty much all throughout the movie. Now, some fun facts and trivia I found. To immerse the actors, the production used full blanks for the gunfire as opposed to half or quarter blanks, resulting in a discharge as loud as real gunfire. In an interview with the New York Times, director Alex Garland revealed that the Christmas Wonderland decoration in the sniper scene was not designed for the movie. Someone had built it as an attraction and decided to leave it up after the attraction was a financial failure. Alex decided to incorporate it into the movie to symbolize the chaos in the country. If you haven't put away the Christmas decorations, something clearly isn't right. Jesse Plemons joined the cast just days before his scene was supposed to be shot due to the original actor dropping out. Kirsten Dunst, Jesse's wife, recommended Plemons to director Alex Garland. On a single day of filming for his one scene in the movie, Jesse Plemons intentionally avoided interacting with the rest of the cast beforehand and stayed in character the entire time they were on location. Many of the soldiers on either side of the conflict were played by actual former military veterans to give a sense of added realism. Actors Nick Offerman and Jesse Plemons weren't known to be part of the project until the first trailer dropped in December 2023. Plemons even denied the rumor that he was in the film earlier that year. Costing $50 million, this is the most expensive A24 film, surpassing Beau is Afraid, which cost $35 million. The soldier, Jesse Plemons, asking Jesse why Missouri is called the Show Me State was not in the script. Cailee Spaeny's reaction is genuine as she is from Missouri, and where the slogan came from is in matter of debate is a matter of fact in debate is a matter of debate in the state. I could not get that out. The four lead actors spent most of the time in their car that had been rigged with hidden cameras and received as little interference from the camera crew as possible, meaning that they were forced to get to know each other and form a camaraderie very quickly. As a result, the dynamic between the central four journalists is very much real and shared by their actors as well. The stretch of road of abandoned cars is GA20 in Hampton, south of Atlanta. The same location was used previously in The Walking Dead. Cailee Spaeny is a massive fan of Kirsten Dunst, citing her as one of her chief influences as an actress and having followed Dunst's career since the Raimi Spider-Man movies. This film gave her a chance to work with Dunst on screen, and Spaeny's admiration of her very much mirrors Jesse's own idolization of Lee. Kirsten Dunst says she struggled with PTSD after she finished production on the film. I felt really empty, she said. And that wraps up my review of Civil War. This film paints a haunting picture of division and chaos while also asking tough questions about our society, power, and survival. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to like and subscribe to Movies on the Brain for more in-depth discussions about films that challenge us. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Civil War and its heavy themes. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember to stay vigilant and never stop questioning the world around you.